The forest air was heavy with smoke and the scent of burning pine. Screams echoed from the valley below as the invaders torched everything in their path. Calen wiped sweat from his brow, his axe still slick with blood. He had fought off 3 raiders already. He wasn't a soldier, just a woodcutter. But today, even woodcutters had to fight. He moved cautiously through the underbrush, heading toward the creek that divided the forest from the outer fields. That's when he heard it, a sharp cry, faint but unmistakable. A girl's voice. Without thinking, Calen darted toward the sound, ignoring the ache in his legs and the sting of a fresh wound across his shoulder. He found her near a fallen tree, her cloak torn and her leg pinned beneath a large branch. Her face was streaked with dirt and tears, and yet something about her posture spoke of nobility, an unconscious pride in her gaze, even through the pain. "Hold on," he said, dropping to one knee. "Don't," she gasped. "They're hunting me." "All the more reason to move quickly," Calen replied. With a grunt, he lifted the branch just enough for her to crawl free. She winced but said nothing about the pain. He wrapped her arm over his shoulders, and together they stumbled into the thicker woods. They didn't speak much during the escape. Calen focused on navigating the deer trails and avoiding the patrols, while the girl, who never gave her name, kept glancing behind them, eyes sharp with fear and fury. It took hours, but he finally brought her to a small cabin nestled in a secluded glade. "You'll be safe here," he said, setting her down on a cot. "I'll tend to that leg." "I owe you my life," she murmured. He shrugged. "You'd have done the same." Her lips curled into a faint smile. "I'm not sure I would have, stranger. But thank you." He didn't ask who she was. It didn't matter. She was hurt and needed help. That was all he needed to know. For the next 3 days, she recovered in the cabin. Calen cooked for her, brought fresh water, and even managed to stitch up the wound on her thigh. She never complained. Instead, she asked him about his life, how he ended up living alone on the edge of the kingdom. He told her about his wife, lost to illness 2 winters ago, and how he'd left the towns behind, wanting nothing but quiet and solitude. She listened, genuinely, and in her eyes, he saw a storm of secrets. Finally, on the 4th morning, she stood up without help. "I have to go," she said. "You're not fully healed. They'll be looking for me. If they find this place, you'll die just for helping me." He frowned. "At least tell me your name." She paused, then reached into the lining of her cloak and pulled out a small silver emblem, the royal crest of Elyra. "My name is Elyra, Crown Princess of the realm." Calen stepped back, stunned. You're the reason the capital was attacked." "They wanted me as a hostage," she said, her tone bitter. "I slipped away during the chaos. I should have died back there. But you didn't know me, and still you saved me." He shook his head slowly. "Wouldn't have mattered if I had." A moment passed between them, something fragile and real. "I will not forget this, Calen of the woods." With that, she vanished into the forest, leaving behind only the scent of pine and the quiet creak of the cabin door swinging shut. Months passed. The war ended with a surprise counterattack. Rumor spread that the royal family had survived, though no one knew where the princess had gone. Calen returned to chopping wood and mending tools, though every night his thoughts drifted to the girl with fire in her eyes. Then, one crisp morning, a procession of royal guards appeared at the edge of his glade. He reached for his axe, wary. One of the guards called out, "Are you Calen, son of Mareth?" "I am." "You are summoned by order of the crown." "I haven't done anything wrong." "No," the guard replied, smiling faintly. "You did something very right." Confused and wary, Calen followed them to the city, rebuilt and alive again. Banners flew high, People lined the streets, and in the palace courtyard, standing beneath the blooming crystal vine tree, was Princess Elyra. She looked different in her regal robes, taller somehow, stronger. But when her eyes met his, the smile was the same. "You came," she said softly. "I wasn't sure I had a choice," he said, glancing around at the guards. She laughed. "Maybe not. But you have a choice now." She stepped forward, holding out a scroll bearing the royal seal. "This is a deed to land, 5 times the size of your forest glade. Fertile, near the river. Yours." "I don't need land," he said. "Then take this," she said, holding out a pendant, gold, etched with her crest. "With this, you will never be taxed, never be conscripted, and always be protected by the crown. I didn't save you for a reward." "I know," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "That's why I'm offering something else." She dismissed the guards, then stepped close. "Stay. Not as a courtier. Not as a soldier. As you are. I need someone beside me who remembers what it's like to be human. Who doesn't lie, flatter, or bow." He stared at her, bewildered. "You want me to live in the palace?" "No. I want you to live as yourself. Near me. As my friend. Or more, if you'd have it." He looked around the polished stone, the blooming tree, the world so different from the wild peace of his cabin. And yet, here she stood, offering not just a reward, but a place in her world. He smiled. "I'll need to bring my axe," he said. She grinned. "Good. The palace gardens could use some pruning." And so, Calen stayed. Not as a noble, nor as a servant, but as something the court had never seen, a man who had no ambition, no schemes, only a quiet strength and an unwavering loyalty to the woman he once saved in the woods. They said the kingdom grew stronger under Elyra's reign. That she was wise beyond her years, bold in battle, and just in law. But those who watched closely saw that her truest strength came not from her crown, but from the man who walked beside her, always with axe in hand and heart unguarded. And in the end, it was not the reward that changed everything, but the love born from a single, selfless act.